Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're dissecting, it's a real-life cyber heist. A story that sounds like something out of a movie, honestly.
It really does. And it connects these seemingly disparate places, the sort of dense forested hills of Jharkhand and then bustling Delhi.
Exactly, where the victims were.
Right. And it's a tale of this audacious cyber fraud. But what makes it really remarkable, I think, is the person behind it.
The mastermind.
Yeah, an individual with a completely unlikely background. A mining engineer.
A mining engineer. Not exactly the first thing you think of for cybercrime.
Not at all. So our deep dive today isn't just about, how the mechanics of this pretty sophisticated KYC fraud.
Every customer.
Correct. But we also want to explore the motivations, the surprisingly clever methods he used, and really the crucial lessons for all of us just trying to live our lives online.
And that's key, isn't it? It's not just a crime story. It's about the cracks in our digital trust, I suppose.
Precisely. And learning how we can maybe reinforce our own defenses.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Who is this person?
Right. So the central figure is Anil Kumar Mandal. And as I said, he holds a diploma in mining engineering.
Which normally points you towards, what, geology, blasting rocks?
Exactly. A career in excavation, maybe coal mines, something like that. But he chose a very, very different path.
And he comes from Jamtara, you mentioned, in Jharkhand.
Yes, a small district, Jamtara. And that name, well, it's unfortunately gained quite a notorious reputation over the years.
Yeah, I've heard of it. The Netflix show, right? It's known as India's fishing capital.
That's the one. It's kind of bizarre, isn't it? A place you might picture, I don't know, goats, more than gigabytes, has somehow become this epicenter of digital deception.
So Mandal, despite his, completely unrelated technical training,
Mining engineering, yeah.
he obviously picked up the local expertise, if
Yeah.
you can call it that.
It seems that. He's described as being in his early 30s, and he basically traded, pickaxes for smartphones.
Mining people's trust instead of coal.
That's a good way to put it. His journey, from the literal underground of mining to this digital underworld, it really sets the stage.
It really does. What does that tell us, though? Someone with that background becoming a cybercriminal.
Well, I think it speaks volumes about adaptability, doesn't it?
Yes.
And ingenuity, even if it's illicit ingenuity.
Right.
It often sprouts from unexpected places, maybe driven by necessity, maybe opportunity, probably a mix.
And it suggests it's not just one clever guy, maybe, more like a local skill.
That's a really important point. It often points to this sort of community-based learning curve. Methods get shared, they get refined, adapted using local knowledge. It becomes this kind of self-perpetuating, evolving criminal ecosystem, not just isolated acts.
Okay, so how did he do it? What was the method, the art of the KYC con, as you called it?
Right. It was, on the surface, deceptively simple, but devilishly effective.
Okay.
He and his associates, they'd make calls, primarily targeting people in Delhi, it seems.
Just cold calling.
Essentially, yes. Presenting themselves as legitimate bank officials, very professional sounding.
And the hook was KYC.
Exactly. They'd insist there was an urgent need for KYC verification, know your customer, claiming the victim's bank account was about to be frozen if they didn't act immediately.
Ah, the urgency play.
Classic tactic.
Yeah.
Imagine someone sitting, maybe in a remote village in Jharkhand.
Sipping chai?
Possibly.
Right.
Convincing a retiree, maybe, in Delhi, that their entire savings are on the line right now.
That urgency combined with fear, it's powerful.
It's the core of the strategy. Weaving this narrative of immediate, severe risk, using phrases like, "Sir, madam, your account will be frozen by tomorrow."
Wow. That would panic anyone.
Absolutely. Especially senior citizens, perhaps less tech-savvy, more trusting. They'd comply just to avoid losing access to their life savings. It's pure emotional manipulation.
Bypassing any rational thought.
Completely.
And then came the tech part.
Yes, the remote access ruse. This is where the technical cunning comes in.
Okay.
Once the victim was sufficiently panicked, properly on the hook, they were convinced to download remote access applications, things like AnyDesk, TeamViewer.
Which are legitimate tools, right, for IT support.
Totally legitimate, used all the time for remote work, tech help. But in Mandal's hands, they became the key to the vault.
An open door.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Victims, believing they're just following, bank protocol,
Right.
unknowingly handed over complete control of their phone or computer.
That's terrifying. They can see everything, do everything.
Pretty much. Once that remote access is established, it's essentially game over.
So Mandel could just navigate the phone.
Freely. find banking apps, extract details, passwords, OTP sometimes.
And then just transfer the money out.
Swiftly, transferring funds to these mule accounts.
Ah, the account's set up just to launder the money.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Set up by accomplices makes it harder to trace back to the source. We saw one instance, apparently, where Jada's 8 lakh was just swiped.
8 lakh rupees.
'Kay.
Just like that. From one person.
Astonishing speed. Gone. You know, maybe Mandal saw himself as some kind of digital mastermind buying iPhones with the proceeds.
Yeah, the report mentioned that.
But digital crime, well, it always leaves a trail. Eventually.
Thankfully. Which brings us to the police work. They didn't get away clean.
No, they didn't.
Hmm.
The Delhi Police Crime Branch, specifically DCP Aditya Gautam and ACP Anil Sharma were mentioned. They launched a dedicated investigation.
So how do you even start tracking someone like that? Operating remotely, probably using burner phones.
It takes meticulous digital detective work. Real cyber sleuthing.
What was the breakthrough?
Well, sources indicate they identified 2 suspicious mobile numbers. The key was they were active at the exact same time and place in Giridih, which is near Jamtara.
Ah, so like a digital fingerprint, 2 phones together consistently.
Exactly. That simultaneous activity was critical. It suggested coordination.
Okay.
So after weeks of, careful surveillance, field operations,
Yeah.
boots on the ground, they pinpointed Mandal's hideout.
It shows that even if criminals think they're hiding, these digital footprints, they persist.
They really do. Patterns emerge. Connections that law enforcement can latch onto.
And then they moved in.
Yep. June 18th, 2025. The team raided his location, apprehended him, and famously, apparently, caught him with one of those ill-gotten iPhones still in his hand.
Oh, wow. Talk about caught red-handed.
Literally. And the search afterwards, well, it uncovered a treasure trove.
What did they find?
Multiple SIM cards, various bank accounts directly linked to the fraud, digital footprints galore, enough to keep cyber forensic experts busy.
And it wasn't just him, right? You mentioned accomplices.
That became clear, too. This wasn't a solo act. It pointed towards a more elaborate network, a sort of cyber circus, as some might put it.
Which leads us to the bigger picture, the wider impact, because this isn't just one guy, one scam.
Absolutely not. It's a stark, frankly alarming reminder of just how widespread this menace is, and growing.
Do we have any numbers on that?
Well, we found figures suggesting that in just the first 9 months of 2024, India lost over Rs 11,000 crore to cyber scams.
11,000 crore.
Yeah, it's a staggering amount. Money that could be used for, well, so many important national needs, just vanishing.
Into the pockets of fraudsters.
And Jharkhand, with Jamtara at its heart, it really is undeniably an epicenter of this whole digital disaster.
It's sobering. And Mandal's case, it just highlights how vulnerable really anyone can be.
Totally. Yes, senior citizens are often targeted, maybe perceived lower tech savviness, maybe higher trust. But honestly, anyone can fall for a well-crafted scam. Even the person who thinks, oh, I'm too smart for that, they could be next.
Because the psychological tactics are so effective.
They really are. It bypasses your usual caution sometimes.
So why Jamtara? What is it about that specific place? We touched on it, but...
It's complex. It's not like they're teaching phishing 101 in schools there.
Right.
It seems to be this unfortunate mix of systemic issues. Poverty, certainly. High unemployment.
Lack of other opportunities.
Exactly. And combined with this, peculiar local ingenuity we talked about. For some young people, it probably looks like a quick way to make significant money without, hard physical labor.
And the scams themselves have evolved, haven't they? It's not just simple phone calls anymore.
Oh, dramatically. It started basic, but now it's a sophisticated industry. They use voice modulators to disguise their voices, create incredibly convincing fake websites,
Wow.
even using AI, artificial intelligence in some cases now, apparently.
AI.
Maybe to generate convincing scripts or even deepfake voice cloning in the future. It's constantly evolving.
It's like a technological arms race. Law enforcement tries to catch up, criminals adapt.
It's a constant game of whack-a-mole for the police, truly. And these scams, they're not staying in Jharkhand. The victims are everywhere. Posh Delhi colonies, bustling Mumbai, small towns, nationwide.
Okay, so this is crucial then. Given all the sophistication, how do you, the listener, shield yourself? What are the practical takeaways?
Right. We need to equip people with actionable insights. Because knowledge, especially nuanced knowledge, is really your best defense here.
So, number one.
Number one, and it sounds basic, but it's critical. Never, ever share sensitive info over the phone. Bank details, card numbers, OTPs, Aadhaar number. Just don't.
Even if they sound convincing,
Yeah,
even if they say they're the bank.
especially then.
Oh.
If it's a legitimate call from your bank, they already have that information. They don't need to ask you for it. Just hang up.
Okay, hang up. Got it. What else?
Second, be extremely wary of anyone asking you to download an app, particularly a remote access app.
Like any desk or team viewer.
Exactly. If someone claiming to be from your bank or tech support you didn't call asks you to download something to fix your account,
Yeah.
understand they're trying to fix their bank balance, not yours, at your expense. No real bank will ask for remote access to your device, period.
That's a very clear red line. Don't download apps on request.
Don't. Third point, verify the caller. This is tricky because scammers use spoofing.
Making the number look like it's actually the bank's number.
Precisely. So even if caller ID says it's your bank, be suspicious. If you have any doubt, hang up. Then you call your bank back using the official number from their website or the back of your card.
Don't just call back the number that called you.
Definitely not. And don't just Google the bank's number either. Sometimes scammers manipulate search results too. Use the official, verified number you already have or find directly on their main site.
Good tip. Official sources only.
And finally, maybe the most important psychological defense. Stay calm.
Easier said than done when they're saying your account is frozen.
I know. But scammers thrive on that panic. They use high-pressure tactics precisely to make you stop thinking clearly.
So take a breath.
Yes. Take a moment. Breathe. Remember, they want you flustered. Then calmly contact your bank through the proper channels. The official number, the secure app, visit a branch.
And chances are the whole story was made up.
Very high chances, yes. Your calm, rational response is your absolute best weapon against their manufactured urgency.
Okay, so never share details, beware remote apps, verify callers independently, and stay calm.
That's a good summary. Those are the core defenses.
We've really unpacked quite a story today, haven't we? It's fascinating, unsettling.
It really is. A mining engineer, Jamtara, sophisticated KYC fraud hitting Delhi. It's a potent mix.
And just a powerful reminder of, well, criminal ingenuity on one hand and our own digital vulnerabilities on the other.
And look, the battle against cyber fraud, it's ongoing. Law enforcement, government agencies, they're constantly adapting, trying to keep up.
Developing new techniques themselves.
Exactly. But the real front line, the most crucial defense isn't just them, it's each one of us.
It comes down to individual awareness and caution.
It really does.
So here's a final thought, maybe. What if the true measure of our digital intelligence isn't just about how well we use technology, how quick we are with apps, how easily we navigate online, but maybe it's more about how effectively we protect ourselves from its misuse, especially when these threats pop up from the most unexpected corners of the world, like a mining engineer in Jharkhand.
That's a provocative thought. It makes you question, doesn't it? The whole nature of trust in this increasingly digital society.
Yeah. And the responsibility we each have, not just to protect ourselves, but maybe to help maintain that trust ecosystem for everyone. Makes you wonder.